Now, my second top story is about a freight train that was meant to solve some of China's energy woes. Figures for China's newly launched Haoji coal freight railway raise serious questions about its effectiveness.
So what's the problem?
Haoji Railway was designed to help solve one of China's fundamental energy problems. Unequal energy resource distribution in the country has left some electricity-poor regions craving resources, while other regions with resources have been hounded by excess capacity. When the idea of constructing a freight line stretching over 1,800 kilometers from the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region to Jiangxi province came up in a government planning meeting in 2008, it seemed to offer a way of streamlining coal transportation costs by moving the commodity through the middle of the country. The railway was created to haul the fossil fuel from a region in northern China that at the time was home to 69.9% of domestic coal production, to an inland area that didn't produce much of its own coal.
That all seems very sensible. So what's exactly wrong?
Well, after more than 10 years and 193 billion yen in the making, that's $27 billion, the Haoji Railway started running on September the 28th to much fanfare. However, freight volume data from the line's first month of operations raises the question of whether there'll be enough demand to support a railway designed to haul more than 200 million tonnes of coal a year, which works out to roughly 547,000 tonnes a day. In its first month up and running, the Haoji Railway transported just 35,000 tonnes a day on average, according to Daqin Railway, one of its shareholders.
Is this a positive or a negative thing? We want to reduce our use of coal, don't we?
Maybe we shouldn't think of it as just positive or negative. Yes, China wants to reduce its use of coal, but just because there is less coal being transported along the railway doesn't mean that China is consuming less coal. In fact, most stats seem to point to the opposite, and coal consumption is actually expected to grow for a few more years to come. The question is why the amount of coal being transported is less. And to answer that, one has to look at China's imports of coal, the unequal manufacturing and energy consumption in different regions, and of course, the growth of alternative energy sources. All we can say for certain is that the railway line doesn't seem to be operating how it was expected, and it gives us a signal that there are other problems we need to explore. Now, the whole story is covered in more detail on our website with a really great in-depth piece.